Hello, Tim Gavel here from the Region Media Group. I'm at O'Neill and Brown Plumbing Services. With me is the service manager, Damien Holder. And Damien, we're really thinking outside the box in terms of plumbing services. We're not just talking about run-of-the-mill plumbing here. We're talking about maintenance, we're talking about upkeep, we're talking about, I guess, getting water away from properties, but really thinking about solutions to problems that exist in everyday Canberra and Queanbeyan homes.
Yeah, that's correct, Tim. Yeah. We look at multiple different things, all plumbing solutions, so plumbing with drainage, sewer, water, hot water, many different aspects of it. We look after a lot of properties, preventative maintenance and the values of servicing those assets to get longevity and energy efficiency. And with residentials and households, we look at the recent rainfall that we've had and how to divert that rain away from the house to minimise insurance claims and property damages. Even hot water system and servicing with those sorts of things to make sure that the customer has longevity out of the plant to get 10 years or more out of them, and the hot water is always delivered to the family when they need it.
People don't realise the need though to maintain and regular maintenance of water systems and any water flow through the house.
Correct. So let's use hot water as an example. Generally, to most people, it's only an issue when it stops working. To know that there's energy efficiency savings to have those servers to be running at the right temperature, can use less gas and electricity, and maintain that and get to up to 30% more life out of the plant and equipment. So something O'Neill and Brown Plumbing Service is known for now is definitely a lot of preventative maintenance. So we pride ourselves in being able to figure out solutions and thinking outside the box to get longevity out of all properties, large and small, to make sure that in the middle of the night, customers don't have blocked drains, no hot water and plumbing issues, and be able to just rest easy to know that we're around and we're looking after things. When we look at everything, it's never, this is what needs to be done at a massive cost. We look at it the most cost-effective way to get the best product or service to the client.
It seems as though strata title managers are already onto this because you're already dealing with major properties around the ACT where they've realised that regular maintenance can cut costs in the future, but also avoids a lot of heartache too.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of key stakeholders that we work with a lot at the moment, and they're definitely over the last 18 months to 2 years looking at hydraulic services and not just fire and electrical, but the value adding in looking after plant and equipment on larger sites, so that if we have multiple complexes or multiple apartments that run off a common hot water system, no property manager wants that phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning when 300 units have no water. So we look with them and how to maintain that long term.
So when you have a look at a house or a business or a unit block, it's case by case, isn't it? Because everyone's different.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of manufacturers' recommendations for servicing. What we do is we do a health check on all buildings. We go through and we have a look at loads that they're running at. So let's use hot water again for an example. If we have a large bank of hot water systems in a complex and at peak time they're all running, they're under maximum load. So we know that manufacturers' recommendations could be 12 months in general, but in complexes like that where they're under maximum load, it'd probably be pulled forward to or back to 6 months to ensure that they stay energy efficient and you have less dropouts. If those hot water systems don't run on max load, then you know that there's always going to be a backup. If one drops out for whatever reason, you know that no one's going to have a hot water problem. But when they're on max, then you know that there could be issues.
With older houses around Canberra and some of the older suburbs, there is an issue with water flow. Is that something you guys can fix up?
Definitely. So we can go into houses and do a flow and pressure test. Generally, older houses have galvanised lines, which actually close up over time, growing a rust formation. It's sort of like a barnacle. It'll reduce the flow. So we can look at the flow of the house and then put together recommendations on how to increase that flow at a cost-effective price.
Talking about cost, it is obviously something that is in the back of mind of everybody when it comes to maintenance of houses. How do you limit the cost, and how important is it to get it before it becomes serious and therefore it becomes a greater cost?
Oh, look, it's definitely an issue. There's two parts to that question. One part is definitely the preventative maintenance to minimise the replacement of larger stuff like hot water systems, gas heaters, gas cooktops and stuff like that. Definitely with the reactive sides of things, we make sure our vans are fully stocked, so when we turn up to jobs, we can get the parts out that we need, so we don't have to run off, to keep the cost at a minimum for the client. And we try to book as much work in when we do it during hours, and troubleshoot after hours, so that cost doesn't have to go to the client. We can actually help them over the phone to isolate that to the next morning.